In 1978, 80% of China's population lived in rural villages, scraping by on subsistence farming. The national gross domestic product per capita sat at less than $200. Today, you can look out across the neon horizon of Shanghai or walk through the automated robotics facilities of Shenzhen. China operates the world's largest high-speed rail network and stands as a global industrial powerhouse. This transition from mud fields to high-speed rail was built on a series of policy shifts that would eventually merge into a single contradictory economic machine, a dual-engine hybrid model. The shift began in September 1976. After the death of Mao Zedong, the country was left ideologically fractured and economically exhausted. The leadership faced an existential choice: maintain strict ideological purity or find a pragmatic way out of stagnation. Emerging from political rehabilitation, Deng Xiaoping rallied a group of reformers. Deng was an economic pragmatist who operated on a simple principle. It didn't matter whether a cat was black or white, as long as it caught mice. This pragmatism allowed the government to build two interlocking pillars. They combined centralized state planning with aggressive grassroots market capitalism. The private sector engine began in late 1978 in the village of Shaogang. 18 farmers signed an agreement to divide collective commune land into individual family plots. They met their state quotas, but kept the right to sell any surplus for their own profit. Crop output surged, and Beijing eventually codified the experiment into national policy. By 1980, the government established its first special economic zones. Inside cities like Shenzhen, normal bureaucratic barriers were suspended. Foreign businesses received corporate tax holidays and duty-free imports, attracting billions in overseas capital and creating a global manufacturing hub. This chart breaks down current economic contributions through the 5-6-7-8-9 rule. Private enterprise drives 60% of total GDP, 70% of innovation, and over 80% of urban jobs. This private sector expansion relied on the labor of over 300 million rural citizens who migrated to coastal boomtowns. They worked grueling hours to build the factories and assemble the goods that powered the early stages of this growth. While private enterprise grew, the state maintained a monopoly over strategic commanding heights. The central government kept direct control over the banking system, telecommunications, and the energy grid. To hit their mandated growth targets, local municipalities began competing against one another like rival corporations. City officials rezoned land, built massive industrial parks, and offered heavy tax subsidies to attract manufacturing plants. This competition drove a massive scale of physical investment. Between 2011 and 2013 alone, China poured more cement than the United States consumed during the entire 20th century, creating an ultra-high-speed transit network that now accounts for over 2/3 of the global total. The state engine provided the physical skeleton. By connecting ports to landlocked provinces with efficient power and rail, it allowed private supply chains to operate faster and cheaper than global rivals. In December 2001, the dual engine integrated with the global market. After 15 years of negotiations, China officially joined the World Trade Organization. WTO entry lowered global tariffs. This synchronized China's state-subsidized infrastructure and its private labor pool, turning the country into a primary exporter for the rest of the world. By 2008, merchandise exports expanded nearly fivefold, anchoring China as the central node of the global economy. As wealth grew, the domestic market modernized. While Western consumers transitioned from cash to plastic, China skipped credit cards almost entirely, jumping straight into a digital payment and AI ecosystem that handles over 100 billion parcel deliveries every year. Industrial focus has moved past basic assembly. Domestic manufacturers now lead the global green energy transition, specifically in solar power production and vertical integration. That focus extends to commercial electric vehicles and the lithium battery supply chains required to build them. China stands today as an unparalleled industrial powerhouse. But the very mechanisms that built the dual engine are now creating significant structural pressure. The state engine's reliance on real estate to drive GDP created severe vulnerabilities. Decentralized municipal competition led to massive overcapacity, unfinished developments, and a rising debt burden for local governments. The rapid industrialization also carried a heavy cost in other areas. Decades of growth resulted in a severe environmental crisis and a significant wealth gap between the urban coasts and the rural interior. There is also a demographic limit. Implemented in 1980,
The one-child policy curbed population growth, but accelerated a dramatic shift in workforce age. This chart shows China's population pyramid in 1980. At the start of the reform era, there was a broad base of young workers ready to enter the factories. Today, birth rates have dropped to record lows, and the overall population is now contracting. Watch as this pyramid inverts in the 2035 projection. The country is aging faster than almost any major economy, creating a central challenge: growing old before fully growing rich. China's rise was the result of pragmatic, compounding decisions. Now, the country faces a different challenge: managing the debt, environmental damage, and demographic shifts that those same decisions created.